Hey there, it's Susie here. Do you want to stop exchanging your time for money? If right now you're a solopreneur and your income is reliant on you being one on one with a client, whether that's virtually or in person, if when you're not working, your business isn't working, then you definitely want to be listening up today. Because here's the thing, this is a very common situation. That's why today we're talking about the three pivotal things that women business owners need to rewire in your business, in your approach, in order to transition to a 6 and 7 figure business. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my guest today, because Amanda Farmer refused to follow the usual rules of what it means to be a lawyer. And even though she could charge generously for her expertise in strata law, she didn't want to go down the same path as most lawyers of exchanging time for money, doing work by the hour, sitting across the table from someone providing her services. She has built a profitable, high 6 figure business, a leveraged business that allows her to do less and earn more and to work from anywhere, helping huge numbers of people demystify the complexities of apartment living. This is our Monday Member Spotlight, and this is where I get to introduce you to an incredible Her Business Network member who is growing a 6 and 7 figure business. Let's bring Amanda on. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hi, Susie. Hi, everybody.
I'm so excited to have you here. Now, I've told them you're a lawyer, but go ahead and tell us about your business and what you do.
Yes, well, I help property owners to demystify the legal complexities of apartment living. And I do that by providing information and guidance and resources inside an online membership community, which is called Your Strata Property.
Now, your expertise is New South Wales strata law. Who are the people that you're usually helping? Who is the ideal client that is making themselves available for you to support?
Yeah, so my ideal client is an owner who lives in an apartment. And I call them apartments because that's a general term that everybody seems to understand. We also use the word strata in many of our
Mm.
states in Australia. And if you live in an apartment, you're probably familiar with the word strata. But owner residents in apartments who are often quite highly engaged, they might be on their committee, they might be the chairperson or the secretary, and they're looking to make their community a better place. And they want to find out more about the complex legal framework that surrounds our apartment buildings so that they can make good decisions for their community, increase the value of their investment, and live more peacefully.
Hmm. One of the things that I know is that over the last 5 years, you have built your strata property into a profitable, high 6 figure recurring revenue business that allows you to pretty much, as I said earlier, work from anywhere and continue to help more and more people through the various things that you do. Now, as we think about now, you were a lawyer, so we kind of expect lawyers to earn a lot of money. But as business owners, there's certain things that we need to think about when we're growing a sustainable and profitable business. And can you tell me, how have you had to think about growing a profitable business, especially because you didn't go down the usual path of building a legal practice the traditional way?
And the traditional way of building a legal practice, I think we learn and we see what our colleagues are doing is that you need lots of staff and you need junior lawyers and then you need associates and then you need junior partners and then partners. And you need a lot of people spending a lot of hours, billing a lot of hours to be making money. And it is then when you are the most senior partner or one of the owners that you might actually get to do less and still make some good money. But by then, I'm looking at my colleagues and they're in their 60s and 70s and still working really, really hard. And I thought, that's not actually the path I want to go down. And I remember actually having a conversation with you, Susie, and Michelle as part of our mastermind strategy session. And I said this to you and I said, I don't want to be employing all of these people. And at that stage, I did have a few lawyers I was employing, and I
Mm.
don't want to work like that. And I dumped on you all of my anxiety, and you both said, you don't have to. You actually don't have to do that. You can run your own race. So, in terms of a mindset shift, first of all, I had to believe that I could do
Mm.
it differently and that I didn't have to do it the way that everybody else was. And once you said that to me, and I said to myself, yeah, I can do business this way, have this business that I want, I then set about building the plan around how I could achieve that. And for me, that's where the online side came in, because that was the way to leverage my time, to leverage my knowledge, my expertise, to reach a lot of people without having that huge team behind me that I was paying and constantly checking on and constantly frustrated by. So I had to have that belief, and I needed someone to tell me, yeah, of course you can do that.
And it does always start in here. Like whatever we create out there in the world does usually start with us making a shift. So whether you are a lawyer or you're a nutritionist or you're a physio or you're a color stylist or you're a, any business, any service-based business where traditionally you've thought, well, the way for me to grow my business to get that 6 and 7 figures is I need it to be a particular way. What we're inviting you to do today is think about, well, maybe there is another way. Maybe there's a more leveraged way that allows you to have as big an impact, as big a profit, as big a business as you want without it having to be that traditional model. And it does start with thinking a different way and thinking about what am I creating and what is it that I ultimately want? And then, as Amanda did, go about and find the way that gets you there. And we'll talk a little more about her business model as we go on today. Some of the things that, like you were doing, you were hiring team members, you were delivering your services in a particular way. How did what you did on a regular basis, how has that shifted as you started to grow this bigger business, to grow to that 6 and soon to be, I'm sure, 7-figure business in this new model? What are you doing differently on a day-to-day basis in your business?
Yeah, look, I think I've had to take the time to work out where the high value tasks were. And as lawyers, as
Mm,
busy, any business person, we are often running around doing everything all of the time. And I had to stop, take stock of exactly what I was doing. And that actually means writing it down, go through that process of, for a couple of weeks, write down everything that you're doing, and then make these hard decisions. Do I need to be doing this, or can somebody else do it? Do I need to do this at all? Can I get rid of doing that? Is this something that I really love? If it is, how much value does it bring to my business? And really nailing where is that high value exercise that I can be doing, should be doing,
mm,
that I can then focus on. And I tell you, that doesn't come naturally. It's something you have to train yourself to do. But after 5 years of having an online business, I do sit down now and I can assess the success of my day and perhaps my happiness with the day when I think I actually did a lot of really leverageable stuff. I reached out
mm.
for new opportunities. I signed off on a project with a local council, which is where I do a lot of my really leveraged work. And it's not putting out fires, and it's not checking somebody else's work and highlighting their mistakes. So I've had to get really focused on where the high value stuff is.
Yeah, that's
That's
useful
really in the
activity,
background
right?
there.
I want to talk about that very quickly. What you said, and is that how do we focus on the higher, hi puppy, on the higher level
Sorry.
activities? That's okay. That's
The
okay.
postman's just
If mine
arrived,
was
so
here, if mine was here, she'd be doing the same thing. So when we think about that higher level activity, because any day there's 1,000 things, bright shiny objects that could be calling for our attention. And so doing what you said is that looking at what's the most strategic thing that I could be doing today that's going to give me the most bang for my buck. One of the things that I know that you've done is that you've created amazing strategic alliances. And I wonder if you could talk to us about that as a strategy that others might be able to use to rather think, how do I go one-to-one and find my next client, one client at a time? How do I suddenly put myself in front of a whole audience of people who could be my client? Tell us about that thinking and doing that sort of work to leverage your business.
yeah, that has been so important, and it has been such a game changer for what I do. I think that's probably started with what getting comfortable with understanding the work that I like to do. So for me, I mentioned earlier, I have a great alliance with local councils. And that
Mm,
came from doing one project with one council where they approached me and said, we need some help with apartment buildings in our local area. We want to do an information session. We want you to produce a resource for us. And I went, great, I love doing that. That's a bit of education. It's creative. It's something different. Really excited to do that. and then enjoying that process, that being successful, and then thinking, okay, how do I rinse and repeat this? How do I do this again, perhaps with another council, in a way that I can then, it's easy to reproduce, it's easy to reach more people, and I can then take that to various other local councils, and that's now expanding into private enterprises as well,
Love
which
it.
is really exciting. I wouldn't have, again, that's a way of thinking. So I see so many people do this, and I was doing this, that one-off project where it's done, it's billed, it's gone. And that is also legal service. That's the way we think about it. Changing that mindset to, how can I make this reproducible? How can I reach more people with this? I've been doing it for a few years now. So I think back to that first experience with that first council. The template is there of the way that I delivered the service, but I've changed it a lot now to work better for me and work better for my business. But I have, that's not, again, it's not something that comes naturally. You have to stop and think about that, and put the effort in, I think, to building that kind of system. So systems and processes, which I know is something that you talk about a lot, remembering how important they are to have that kind of leverageable business. Yeah.
And we talked about, thinking in a totally different way, and that some things need to shift for things to shift in our business. The other thing is what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And that is, the actions, the tasks, the approaches that we have. But there's one other area, Amanda, I want to talk about, and that is actually mindset. Because we ultimately, as we grow those 6 and 7 figure businesses, our confidence can be shaken. We might find ourselves resisting our own goals by doing things that self-sabotage or coming up against imposter syndrome. What have been some of the mindset that you have had to rewire in your own business as you've shifted from a very busy solopreneur who grew a team to someone who is building a profitable high six-figure business in a totally different way?
Yes. Thank you very much for this question. There's so much going on in my mind in this context, because there's a lot I want to say here. As you said, a busy solopreneur, a type A personality, a lawyer, we kind of come out of the womb working hard and thinking that we have to work hard. And I come from a family of small business owners, where it was always work hard. Nothing comes easy. Everything takes work. If you want to get anything out of it, you got to put the work in. So that was definitely ingrained in me. And that's not at all a bad thing. It's so important to have a good work ethic. But in terms of mindset shift, I have had moments in the last few years where I've thought to myself, I don't really feel like I'm working that hard, because I have an online membership and I have recurring revenue, and I'm actually in the south of France for 6 weeks and I've still got money coming into my bank account. I'm not seeing clients. I'm not doing billable hours. And I've had this self-sabotage moments of panic where I think, oh, well, I better do something. So I better create a new product, or I better do another webinar, or I better do a sale before the end of the year, because I don't feel stressed enough and I don't feel like I'm working hard enough. So I might not hit my goal.
Awesome.
And I've made that mistake. And as recently as the end of last year, after coming out of our first lockdown and doing so much education and so much online for people living in apartments, and it was wonderful, and it really built my profile. But I got to about November last year and I was burnt out, and I was doing another sale. And I told myself then, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. When I look at my numbers, I don't have to do that. And I'm not doing that this year. And I feel so much better for it. But my numbers are good, even better than last year. And it's that shift between, you know what? It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be stressful. If you're enjoying it and you feel relaxed and you feel fulfilled and you're excited by the day, that's pretty good. That's what it is.
That is very, very powerful, because I know I similarly have grown up with a very work hard ethic, and I still find myself working way harder than I need to if I look in my bank account. Do you know what I mean? And thinking, but it's just it's a habit, it's a mindset. And we do ultimately, if we want sustainability in our business in the long term, we do need to look at what is happening at a mindset level. And then it does go back to thinking, but it's slightly different, isn't it? It's almost at a core level. Am I can I have what I want even though I'm not slogging myself? Can I have this wealth, this wellness, this traveling with my family, as soon as we can do that again, Amanda? I
Yep,
know
I'm
we'll
with
be
you.
there, and have all of that. Can I have the abundance that I'm creating for myself, or am I stuck in where I used to be, not allowing myself to actually reap the rewards that I have created through my hard work, through my thinking, through the things I do every day, to really allow yourself to sort of lap that up and live the life that you ultimately desire.
And it can be so hard when everyone around you, and you see this in my space with lawyers, is working their backside off,
Yeah.
and they're working on the weekends, and they're up late at night, and especially during lockdown when everybody's at home in front of the computer, to not feel like, oh, am I missing that? Should I be doing that? Is that something
Mm.
that I need to be involved in? And I think also, as women, we take on so much, and we want to be all things to all people, and we can do that comparison thing. We think, well, my
Mm.
friend or my colleague is doing this with their business. I'm not doing that, but I think I'm doing. Should I be doing that? So just being true to you do you, as you tell me, Susie. That's so important to tap into and to keep coming back to keep coming back. Do I need to be doing this? Do I want to be doing this?
Mm.
Is this part of my vision? And that it's so important to know what your vision is so you can check in
Yes,
with it.
yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Because that is our guide, right? Once we have the vision of where we want to go, then we can line up our thinking. We can line up what we're doing every single day. But if we don't have a clear vision of where we're going, and that is why we spend so much time inside of the Her Business Network working on vision and working on our longer term plans and knowing what our strategic objectives are. One of the things that you mentioned earlier was that you are doing these events for councils, and these events put you in front of your ideal client, people who live in apartments who have complex situations they need resolving. And one of the things you said to me is that has come about from you speaking up more. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I run webinars for local councils. I do about one a month. And I get the opportunity, I get paid to do the webinars, but I also get the opportunity to open up the doors to my membership and welcome in new members to my online community. And that's been excellent for my business model. So as well as getting paid for the webinar, I get to have new members joining the community. And so I have a section of the webinar where I talk about the membership and what's included and how you can join us, the benefits from the membership, sharing member stories. I thought I was doing that reasonably well. I was doing well on sales, getting new members at the end of each webinar, which was great. But we had learned, I'm part of Susie and Michelle's Marketing Success Mastermind, and we'd learned in the mastermind how to do webinars a little better, a little differently, how to amp them up. And I have been working the last 12 months on doing that. And I changed my webinar a little bit. But the last webinar that I ran last month, I really put a lot of focus on that 10 to 15 minutes where I was sharing details of my online community and inviting people to join. So really on that sale. And I worked with members inside the mastermind, and Susie and Michelle sent my webinar slides in, and we juiced them up and changed them a lot, changed the way I was talking about the membership, and I doubled my results in that webinar. I nearly fell off my chair. And I posted in our mastermind Facebook group, I posted, oh, now I get it. Now I understand.
Mm.
I had people on that webinar who'd attended many of my webinars, never become a member. And something about that webinar, the way that I was talking, they ended up buying membership. And we can feel like we are shouting about our product or our service. We can feel like we're being over salesy, but 9 times out of 10, you are not. You are squeaking about who you are. We need to turn up the volume on sharing what it is that we do. I've also done in-person events where I've had members in the audience, and I've had 10 minutes to talk about the membership, and they've come up to me afterwards and said, Amanda, your membership offer is very subtle. And I'm thinking, oh, I thought I was
Interesting.
over the top. I know. And these are members who are inside, so they know how valuable the membership is and they want more people to experience that. And they're telling me, your offer is very subtle. You need to you need to dial up the volume on that. So I just think that's so important to share.
Fascinating. It's so
Yeah.
important to share because that's, a conversation that you might have been having inside yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously. Sometimes we can do this. It's like, I don't want to be super salesy. I don't want to be super pushy, especially I'm in front of another person's audience. And so I will say what it is that I want to say, but you're not asking for the sale with conviction. When your thinking changed and you started to do something different, you changed up the slides, you changed up the way that you were going to talk about the offer, and then you did that thing and you doubled your sales and you almost fell off the chair, which I think is hilarious. But that's what it takes. It takes having people reflect back to you your awesomeness and finding the right tools, doing the things, but also just changing the mindset. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to implement some things I've learned, and I'm going to, like you said, turn up the volume. And for most of us, we need to be turning up the volume. I need to turn it up. Amanda, you're continuing to turn it up. And if you're watching this, likely there's an opportunity for you to turn up the volume so that your awesome message can be heard by the people and that you are unapologetic about the value that you bring. So what Amanda was doing was she was becoming unapologetic about the value that you get inside of your Strata property membership. And she was making that clear to people who are obviously ready to buy. But when she was whispering the offer, they weren't getting it. But when she was there with conviction, walking people through the slides, giving that part of her presentation enough airtime for people to really go, oh my gosh, this is an incredible community that I need to be a part of, because my home community, it really needs these things, these templates that Amanda has, or this knowledge that Amanda has, or this networking that's available for me with other people who are in similar situations. So turning up the volume. I love that you brought that to this conversation. If you, I'm just going to, good morning. So a few people saying good morning. Thank you so much for being here. So tell us a little bit, Amanda, about what you've got coming up, the products and services that we can avail ourselves of. And I know you've got a couple of freebies available too.
I do. Yes, we can start there. Over on my website at yourstrataproperty.com.au, you will see 2 free ebooks. So anybody who is interested in apartment living, whether you're an owner or you're also a manager, we have strata managers and property managers who find help in these resources as well. You can find out these 6 things you absolutely need to know about strata. That's there on the homepage. And there's also a free download, the number one thing that dramatically improves apartment living. Now, the benefit of opting into those resources is that you will find out when my next webinar is coming up. I do have one in a couple of weeks, and the webinars are the ways to get access to the membership. So membership doors are not always open. I open them on special occasions and welcome in new members to the community. So we'll be doing that in a few weeks' time with one of our webinars.
So that is yourstrataproperty.com.au. If you're watching the replay of this, we'll make sure we put that link down here below as well. You definitely want to grab some of those freebies, because really that is the way into Amanda's world and starting to get the benefit of Amanda's years and years of experience with this particular area. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with, Amanda?
I just want to say thank you, Susie, and thank you to the HerBusiness Network for your years of support. I was posting on LinkedIn this morning, letting my network know that I was having a chat with you today. And I was very open about saying I would not be where I am in my business today if it wasn't for you and for HerBusiness. Having this kind of community around you, we talked about mindset and that first step of actually believing you can have it. And sometimes before you believe, you need someone to tell you that you can have it. And this is the place where I get that support, whether it's having an online business or then doing a webinar or then doubling my results or hosting a summit or doing the next big thing that I want to do. This is the place that I come to be told that I can do it. And then I believe it. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being our member spotlight today.
Super fun.
I'll see you soon. Thank you, Amanda. That is the wonderful Amanda Farmer from Your Strata Property. You definitely want to go ahead and check out the webinars that she's got coming up. Once again, her URL is yourstrataproperty.com.au. And Amanda is one of our many, many amazing members, all women business owners who want to grow and scale a business, who need that little bit of encouragement, a little bit of skills, a little bit of being headed in the right direction, creating a clear vision, knowing what to focus on, avoiding the bright, shiny objects. And we, like Amanda, our doors are normally closed. But on the 16th of November, we are opening up the doors to welcome some new members before the end of the year so that you can hit the ground running with the new year being your best year ever. And so if you're ready to finally create the profitable business that you know is possible for you, then I encourage you to go ahead and join us when we open. All you need to do is, I'm going to give you a URL right now. It's HerBusinessNetwork.com. If you head over there and just leave your name and your email address, we will send you an invitation when the doors open. The doors will only open for 4 days on the 16th of November, and you'll have to have an invite to be able to join us. So go ahead and head on over to HerBusinessNetwork.com to get your invitation. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the wonderful Amanda Farmer and to all our Her Business Network members, which make it such a joy for me to do what I love every single day. Have a great week. If you've got any questions at all, just go ahead and drop them here below. Bye for now.